body bags were whore lies.
Who is this irresistible creature who has an insatiable love for the dead?
Hey guys, happy Thursday, this is your Fright Chick speaking. Okay, so this week's theme is Universal Monster Week, and I've gone for the most obvious choice ever. Dracula! Okay, so this is obviously the 1931 Bela Lugosi version. Not a silent film, it is a talkie, as I used to call them. And I've got nothing but praise for this, okay? So if you didn't like it, then that's fine. But I really do enjoy this one a lot. So yeah, for those of you that don't know the basic premise of Dracula itself, where have you been? But it is obviously, but it's not completely based on Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I have read, and it is very similar, obviously. But there was also a play. This was based off of the play, which was based off of the book, if that makes sense. But yeah, so this is really what like kind of kick-started Bela Lugosi's like phenomenal, legendary career and all that, which he hated being typecast as Dracula. But yes, so the premise of Dracula itself, we have the character of Renfield. Renfield is going off to Transylvania, to the Carpathian Mountains, to settle, how do you say it? He's basically had a client who is Count Dracula, who wants to buy a property back in England, and he's there to do all the legal stuff, all that kind of paperwork and all that sort of stuff, and basically go through it with him. He gets to this tiny little village, and they're all scared of Castle Dracula and all that sort of stuff, and you know, they're like, don't go up there, mister, don't go up there, but he just doesn't, he's like, no, that's just a stupid idea. So he goes up there with his little horse-drawn carriage and whatnot, getting the guy to take him up there. And when he gets there, he meets Count Dracula. And I like the fact that if you've seen the 1992 movie, they do sort of different costume changes and all this sort of stuff. So he's an old man at one point. He just looks like this pretty much through the whole movie, you know. He's very charming, and he's very, you know, mysterious. And, you know, that famous line of, I don't drink wine, you know, that whole thing. It's very, very good. So he gets there, talks to him about it. Let's try and hurry this along a little bit. Talks to him about it, signs the papers, all this sort of stuff. But while he's there at night, he gets attacked by Dracula. He almost gets attacked by his 3 Dracula brides, but he gets attacked by Dracula, who feeds on him and turns him into a slave who has to eat bugs and little living things like rats and shit like that, because he gets their life blood out of them. So they get on a ship, and Dracula's in his coffin. Renfield's basically his kind of daylight protector, if you will, but he's just nuts now. So he protects him. They get to England, and all the crew are dead on the ship, and Renfield's the only one alive, obviously. So they take him and put him in a sanatorium. I think it's Dr. Seward's sanatorium. They take him there, and, you know, he's just a raving lunatic, and he's talking complete gibberish. No one understands what he's saying. Count Dracula, on the other hand, has now made it to his destination of Carfax Abbey, which is what he purchased. And he integrates himself into society rather, a little bit by meeting Dr. Seward, and he meets Jonathan Harker, and meet his fiancée Mina, and the best friend Lucy What the hell is her name? Weston, isn't it? Lucy Weston. Dr. Van Helsing comes in at some point. I can't quite remember exactly how he gets introduced in this, but he does come in at some point, because as Dracula is mingling with this affluent family and such, they all become enamoured with him. You know, he's the European and all this sort of stuff. And then they basically just kind of, he starts draining Lucy. He drains her a couple of times. She ends up becoming a vampire. She goes on a bit of a rampage, and then he starts to drain Mina. And they slowly, actually no, they're not very slow, they quite quickly realise this, and they decide they're not quite sure what he is, but he is clearly the cause of it. You know, Dr. Van Helsing comes in, does his thing. He's like, this is a vampire's work. We have to stop the vampire. So he's the only one that really knows anything. And he's like, no, this is completely normal. It's a vampire. We're going to have to kill it. It's fine. So there's this whole kind of, it's almost like a subdued love story in a way, you know, where Dracula wants Mina, and it's perfectly normal for him to do what he's doing to her and to everybody else, because it's just a natural way of his nature, but everybody else is just like, we've got to take this guy down. So you never really know who to root for. It's weird. But yeah, so eventually they do take him out. You know, there's a big old kerfuffle at Carfax Abbey where they track him down and they try and use like things to keep Mina safe. You know, like wolfsbane and such. And I don't think he's got. I think he's wolfsbane in this. They don't use garlic. And yeah, so they eventually track him down and take him out. And if you didn't know that, seriously, where have you been? But what I really like about this one, about this version actually, there's one thing that stands out to me. Obviously, it is black and white. It was very old school. It was directed by Todd Browning, who you may know has been the director of Freaks, another cult film from the early 30s. So it's the same sort of style, you know. And I love the fact of when they show Dracula at points, you know, they have the light. The only light is across his eyes, and he's got such these intense eyes. They almost just glow on their own anyway, but it's really intense when the light's on his eyes, and it's just brilliant stuff. I don't really know what else to say about it because everyone kind of knows about it already and such, but yeah, you don't really get any extras on this DVD. At least I don't remember there being any extras, and it doesn't say here that there are. I'm pretty sure it's just a pretty simple, you know, when they put like interactive menu and scene access, and you're just like, that's not an extra. that's just a basic DVD. So yeah, but these are about $3.99 each, I think, these ones. If this was a bit too meh for you, just watch Leslie Nielsen in Dracula Dead and Loving It, because that film's fucking awesome and it's perfect parody of this. It really is. Okay, so I will see you guys next week. Bye.